So his work with Andrew Lloyd Webber on Sunset Boulevard, Aspects of Love and Starlight Express has produced some of the genre's most memorable moments. Such is Don's standing in the entertainment world, but even Steven Spielberg was reportedly starstruck when he met the legendary songwriter, gasping, "The Don Black," apparently. Well, I'm very pleased to say that we have the Don Black here right now. There he is, Don. Good evening to you. Thank you very, very much for joining us. How are you, first and foremost?
I'm fine. It's a fantastic introduction. I'm trying my hardest to look humble.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yes, I wanted us to do all sorts. You know, I was going to put a Bond tux on, I was going to have a golden gun, I was going to release a confetti cannon for you, but no, alas, apparently there's some health and safety features around, frankly, all of those things, actually. But I want to start really with let's start with what you regard in what is a long list of very fine achievements as being your greatest ever career achievement.
It's a very difficult thing. Staying in the business, I think. It's a very uncertain business, songwriting, and you have to have the right temperament to stay the course. And I've stayed on the horse, so I'm very pleased that I stuck with it, because when you write songs, you have great highs and you have a lot of lows as well. So, I mean, it's probably not the answer you're looking for. I don't know if it's my greatest achievement. I wouldn't single out one song as my greatest achievement. My family has been my greatest achievement, I suppose.
And he's a nice guy as well. Look at him. You know, he's not just talented, he's got a heart of gold. But just in terms of the Bond stuff, right, was there a particular... Well, talk to me about how you initially got involved with it, and then what that was like for you, because, I mean, it's incredible. You've had a very long-lasting relationship with the 007 franchise, and the kind of relationship that most songwriters could only dream of.
Yes, well, it all began. I had a hit song early in my career, Matt Monroe singing Walk Away, and it was John Barry's favourite song at that time. John Barry wrote the music, and he asked me if I'd like to have a go at Thunderball. And that's how I started with Thunderball. And then I got to know the Broccoli family, and John Barry was my closest collaborator. And so I've written over 100 songs with John Barry.
Wow.
So it was my connection with John that one song led to the other. I mean, I must say that of all the stuff I've done in my career, it's the Bond stuff that is the most quoted.
Yes. Well, yes. I think you can almost can understand why, really. I'm just going to ask you, just while we're on the Bond thing for now, a bit of a cheeky question. Who do you think the next James Bond should be?
Well, I have been approached.
Well, there we got some competition, because so have I. Yeah, go on. Who do you think it should be?
I have no idea, really, because I don't think they know. It's too early. We're talking 4 years away or something. So, I don't know. But I'll put your name forward, Patrick.
Well, thank you very much. And if I had an agent, they'd be working very hard on it. So I'm sure that would be the case. But I just want to know, really, where you get all your inspiration from. It may shock you, Don, to know that I have absolutely no musical talent whatsoever. So for me, the idea of being able to write a song and the genesis of how that song starts, the whole process of it, can you just try to explain it to an idiot like me, please?
Well, it's really indefinable how you write a song. I mean, with me, I walk around a park, I sit in the kitchen with a cup of tea, and somehow or other, something comes up. I need the music because I write the words only. So when I have a tune, I'm looking to find something that really sings. Singability is one of the main things, and to try and say something fresh about the human condition. I mean, there are many songs that say, "Please don't leave me," or "I'll always love you." And really, you're trying to say all that in a different way. And it's very difficult. You know, there are only a few rhymes with the word love. And, glove, shove, and all that. So it is not as easy as it sounds.
It doesn't sound particularly easy to me. I've got to be honest with you about that. But yeah, I think it's absolutely fascinating. Do you always know when you've written an absolute banger?
No. I know when I'm satisfied with a song, And I think, oh, well, I couldn't improve that. But then you need luck. Luck is very important. A lot of my songs came about with luck in mind, because when I wrote Born Free, the producer didn't like it. He didn't like the music or the lyric, but it went in and it went on to win an Oscar. And the producer of Diamonds Are Forever, Harry Saltzman, didn't like that. But it went ahead and was very successful. That happens a lot. So luck plays a big part. But I think the main thing is my love. Going back to your first question about what is my achievement, it's my love of great songs. I can listen to Cole Porter and Irving Berlin from that period all night and still get goosebumps from these old songs that were so beautifully crafted. However, I also get a great deal of satisfaction listening to Dua Lipa or Bruno Mars or Ed Sheeran. So my sons make sure that I'm up to date.
Yes, controversial view, but maybe you should want to work with Adele, because it just seems to be the same song over and over again. But so I'm gonna get hate mail for that. I'm gonna get hate mail. But you work with Michael Jackson, so talk to me a bit about that. I mean, to say the least, he's a fascinating chap.
Well, yeah, I wrote the song Ben, which was from a film, and it was about a rat. And it was a huge success. It went to #1 in America. But more importantly, we got to know Michael very well. And I was living in Los Angeles at the time. And he would play pool with my sons, Grant and Clive. And we were great friends for many years. And of course, he was 14 at the time. So he was very innocent. It was before all the madness came into his life.
And what was that like then? 14-year-old Michael Jackson, obviously, we can't skirt around the issue. There's been a fair bit reported about him and his unique life. I think it's fair to say, in his later years, we don't need to dwell on that. But, in the early years there, Michael Jackson before the madness. I mean, what was it like? What was he like as a person?
Well, you wouldn't believe how innocent he was, and he liked talking about songs. His favourite song was, he liked all Matt Monroe songs for a start, but he loved the songs from Hans Christian Andersen, Inchworm, Measuring the Marigold. He would sing that around the pool table, and that's a lovely, innocent song. He was delightful. There was nothing, he was faultless, and he was like one of the family. He became one of the family. But as it got on, I had a call one day from his father to say, if you want to speak to Michael, you have to go through me. And it suddenly had a different kind of, atmosphere about the relationship. So we still stayed in touch, but I had to go through the father, which wasn't very attractive.
No, wow, no, I can imagine. I mean, things obviously changed. Didn't they? Talk to me a bit about Andrew Lloyd Webber and working with him and working in that kind of industry as well. How did that initially come about? And just you must have some cracking showbiz stories,
Well, I do. I mean, I always like to say, when I talk about Andrew, I like to thank him not only for his music, but for my house and carpets as well.
Right. Right, okay. All right, go on.
It came about because I wrote a show in London called Bar Mitzvah Boy, and he saw it, but a couple of people loved it. Very important people loved it. A man called Hal Prince, who was responsible for Fiddler on the Roof and so many other things, and a man called Michael Bennett, who did a chorus line. And he sent me I still have them, the cables that said the best lyrics I've ever heard on a West End stage.
Gosh.
And Hal Prince said impeccable work. I'm not saying that to boast, but he told Andrew Lloyd Webber, and Andrew Lloyd Webber and I had lunch, and he said, he was a bit fed up doing big shows like Evita and Jesus Christ Superstar and Joseph. And he said, I fancy doing a one-woman show. And so we talked about it, and as a result of that, Tell Me on a Sunday came about. And that was the song cycle that we did. And I've also written 100 songs with him, with Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Gosh.
So I've spent, and I'm godfather to his son. So that's a family thing as well.
You've locked Webber in. No, fantastically well. You've kept him close. I like it. No, but did you always know that you had a talent when you were growing up? Because I was just doing a little bit of research on you before the show. You started as a song plugger, was it? You had relatively humble beginnings as well, from what I can gather. I mean, did you always know that you had this talent?
No, I don't think you ever do. Yeah, I come from the East End, Hackney, and they were very happy days, no hardship at all. And I worked in Tin Pan Alley, and I was surrounded by well-known songwriters. So I spent a lot of time talking to songwriters. And I love words. I've always loved words. So I tried my hand at writing lyrics. And for some time, I just wrote rubbish, nothing happened. But then I wrote that song I mentioned earlier, Walk Away, for Monroe. And it was successful. And it opened a lot of doors for me.
Well, indeed, and you've been keeping those doors open ever since, haven't you? It's fair to say. I just wanted to ask you something quickly, if that's all right. I know that COVID has absolutely decimated a lot of the theatre industry, a lot of the arts, frankly, and indeed loads of people's lives. Right? And I understand that you had COVID relatively recently, and we're not that well with it. Where do you stand on, the push to now reopen all of our theatres and reopen? I know Andrew Lloyd Webber, your friend, was very outspoken on that for a long time, wasn't he?
Well, of course, it's devastating what happened to the theatre, but I'm going to take this opportunity of mentioning something, my latest thing, because why not? Because it's relevant to the COVID. When I was in hospital, I was in hospital for 9 days, and it really was touch and go. And the NHS were unbelievable, just so compassionate. And I got the all clear. And I said to my sons, I'd love to do something for them. And an opportunity came up recently. I wrote a song for Hospice, Hospice Age UK. And I wrote this song called You Are Loved with Debbie Wiseman, a wonderful composer. And it's just been recorded by Jason Manford and the girl called Gloria Onatiri. She's the girl who stars in Cinderella.
I didn't
know
Manford had it in him.
Oh, he's a fantastic singer. But the reason I mention it is that all the proceeds are going to charity, to the hospice charity. So everyone wants to download it, stream it. It couldn't be a better cause.
Fantastic, good stuff. Now, I would like to open the floor up to some of our viewers, and hundreds of them were getting in touch with us, emailing in, tweeting in, Facebooking in, and our esteemed team of producers out there have managed to whittle it down to just a few ones. So we've had Paul on Twitter who's asked, will we ever win the contest? What do you think?
Well, it's Terry Wogan always said the Eurovision programme is entertainment. And that's what it is. There's too much emphasis on who will win it and do it. It's a great few hours. I've never missed one. But getting a song right is like winning the lottery. I heard ABBA speaking about writing a song for Dua Lipa. And that's a lovely idea. I'm sure it'll be a great song. I don't think it guarantees it'll be a hit. No. But whatever happens, I don't want to lose Eurovision because it's a great thing to have.
It is, and it's feel good. I mean, not if you get nil point, which we usually do, but I mean, it's just a nice experience, isn't it? And I must say, I used to absolutely love the commentary on it. I think Graham Norton's fantastic on it now, isn't he? But Terry was the master, wasn't he? But anyway, Laura has been in touch over email. Who would you say was the best singer you've ever worked with?
Barbra Streisand.
Oh, go on, talk me through that.
Well, because she recorded 2 songs from Sunset Boulevard, As If We Never Said Goodbye and With One Look. And I described her voice as liquid diamond when I spent the day with her in her house in Bel Air. She is the voice of the generation. There will never be another Barbra Streisand.
I'm going to go off. I'm going to go a bit off piste here, but just say, when you just drop these things in there, and it seems very naturally to you, and it's definitely, you can tell when someone's dropping a name and they're trying to show off. We had Yuri Geller on last week, and goodness me, did he drop a few names? But it just seems like very natural to you. When you first started out and you were meeting these people, and you started to meet people and go round and meet Barbra Streisand in her house and stuff, have you just always been totally cool about the whole thing, or were you in the car having a panic attack on the way there?
No, I've never had I've always got on well with creative people. It's just something that I tune into. It doesn't matter if it's Frank Sinatra or if it's Justin Bieber, none of them will worry me because I understand what's going on in their head because I'm in the same kind of business. And it's a joy to be with. It's a joy to be with. But it's certainly, I'm not worried at all, intimidated. Not intimidated at all.
They're probably intimidated about meeting you if the Steven Spielberg quote turns out to be true. But Paul on email has asked, and this is our final one, Don, then I'll let you go to whatever firework display it is you've got planned this evening. How did you meet Matt Monroe? Paul has asked that.
Okay, Matt Monroe was a bus driver with a fabulous voice, and he gave up the driving and thought he'd try his hand in Denmark Street, which was Tin Pan Alley. I got to know him, and it was a period, it's hard for anyone to relate to this, but when songwriters wrote a song, they had to get it demonstrated. And Matt was hanging around hoping that people would ask him to demonstrate a song. And I was in a position to help him because I worked for a music publisher and I gave him £5 every time he sang a song. Now, it doesn't sound much today, but then it sounded like $1 million to Matt. And when he had some success, he said he remembered the fivers I lavished on him. And he asked me to become his manager. And I became his manager for over 20 years. One of the greatest men in the world, and certainly the best singer to ever come out of this country.
Oh, fantastic stuff. I tell you what, if you ever heard me sing, Don, you pay me £1 million just to stop.